What is going on, guys? I'm Tubby Emu, bringing you coverage of the Fatal 4-Way match at Over the Limit 2012. Make sure to leave your predictions down below, and if you guys can leave a rating, that would be awesome. Guys, why are there 4 people in this match? Probably because the WWE realizes that to keep 2 of these superstars off the pay-per-view would be an absolute stupid idea. And, originally this match was just going to be Alberto Del Rio versus Sheamus. Randy Orton and Chris Jericho were kind of thrown in there. Now, some people had speculated they were going to do Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho as a feud, and I was perfectly okay with that because I like that kind of feud. I think both of those guys are good, together. I think they would both have a good rivalry, just like Kane and Randy Orton did. They put on some good matches, and I think those two could put on a good match as well. Because if you look at these 2 superstars, and I keep bringing up this podcast, but you guys should really go listen to it. We fully broke down Over the Limit, and what me and Havoc were talking about were, Sheamus and Del Rio, who the WWE invests for some reason so much into these 2 guys. Sheamus is a great wrestler. He's over with the crowd. The fans love him. He consistently gets one of the bigger pops on SmackDown. And, they gave him the Royal Rumble. They gave him a WrestleMania victory in 18 seconds. And, it's the same thing with Del Rio, where I don't know what it is about Del Rio. If it's only because he's the only Mexican wrestler in the WWE right now. The WWE loves Alberto Del Rio. Vince McMahon must have a hard-on for the man. He gave him the Royal Rumble winner. He lost at WrestleMania, but then he went on to win the title once or twice. He won the Money in the Bank. And they really invested in a lot into Del Rio. And it looks like, coming out of nowhere from his injury, they've already got him back in the title scene. And, it makes me question, what's potentially going to happen at this pay-per-view. Because before it was announced to be a Fatal 4-Way, I thought for sure Sheamus would retain. After facing Daniel Bryan in a good match, they're not going to let Sheamus just go and drop the title. But this way, in a Fatal 4-Way setting, what it sets up and what it can possibly allow for is for Sheamus to lose the belt. And then get his rematch, obviously, but without him having to actually lose it and look weak or look, undeserving of being a champion. And the reason I say that is because if you invest that much into Sheamus, he can't go out there and lose cleanly. It's not going to be a match where Randy Orton hits 3 RKOs and then pins one of them. Most likely, this match will end with whoever's going to win. It'll probably be Randy Orton hits an RKO on Alberto Del Rio, but then Chris Jericho throws Randy Orton out of the ring, and then he pins Chris Jericho, or Alberto Del Rio. That's always a possibility. And I think whoever does win this match will win it sneakily. It won't be a clean win. It's not going to be something that, sets the tone for this person being a super dominant superstar. That's the whole point of a Fatal 4-Way. You do not have to pin the champion. You can pin anybody. First pinfall or submission wins the match. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic because there's a lot of different ways the WWE could go with this one. A lot of people consider, and, they don't ever think about, the dark matches because people see the dark matches and they're like, oh, June 4th, Sheamus, the WWE champion, is scheduled to take on this person. And they think, well, Sheamus is automatically going to win because he's advertised for dark matches. Do you really think the WWE would advertise the dark matches as Randy Orton, the WWE champion, will face this person? No. After John Cena beat Kane at Elimination Chamber, he was advertised and wrestled him in, a Falls Count Anywhere match for the next month after their feud had already continued. It ended. So don't ever rely on those sort of things to be the telltale sign of, who's going to win. That's definitely not what you want to focus on. And a lot of people were getting upset that, once they saw Randy Orton on that Over the Limit poster, everybody assumed, oh, nope, it's time for the B champion, the B star, and with John Cena being A-list and Randy Orton basically being A-list, number 2 being basically SmackDown's top talent in a way, it looks like they're kind of priming him to get back up on the gun. It looks like, they're like, all right, well, we gave Sheamus a run, we tried Daniel Bryan out, we tried Mark Henry, now let's give the title back to Randy Orton. Let's let him sneak in and steal it. And that is definitely a possibility come the pay-per-view. Randy Orton is always a very volatile character that you want to watch out for. And I think that, when the pay-per-view comes, we could see Randy Orton win. And as much as I want to say that he will win, I don't think it's going to happen that way. I think it's going to go down a little differently. And unfortunately, I only see two guys winning here. It's got to be, if it's going to be a heel, it's going to be Chris Jericho. I don't see Del Rio getting the title back so fast. I mean, I know the WWE loves him, and they invest so much into him. But me personally, I don't want to see the title go back on Del Rio. Because look what when he was champion, it didn't improve ratings. It didn't improve things. You know, he is a good heel, but he's just not at that level where, you know, he can go out there and everybody hates him or everybody loves him, or versus Jericho, where people can hate Jericho, but people also love Jericho too, the fact that he's back. And Jericho won't be around forever. You know, he is touring with the band, and whether he comes back after that, who knows. But I say, if a heel's going to win this match, it's going to be Chris Jericho. Now, for a pay-per-view standpoint, they usually don't do face versus face. Now, they did on SmackDown. They did Randy Orton versus Sheamus. But when they usually build a feud, they don't do heel versus heel or face versus face. And if this match goes out and Sheamus doesn't get pinned, and that basically keeps him looking strong, he'll get his rematch possibly. Is he going to face a face? Is he going to face Randy Orton? That really wouldn't make sense from a booking standpoint, because you don't do that. You want to have somebody you like. But with Randy Orton potentially kind of wavering back and forth now between heel again, you know, he came out, Sheamus on Friday Night SmackDown, shook his hand, and be like, you got me this time, come Friday, won't be so lucky, and then decks him with an RKO. Maybe we can have Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Me personally, what I want to see happen is I want to see Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton. I think that would be the best feud for me to see, and for that to happen, Chris Jericho's got to win. He's got to win the rematch, and then Randy Orton's got to be the contender. And unfortunately, that I think would take too long, and, you know, it does suck. So I think what will end up happening is Chris Jericho and Randy Orton will have some sort of thing happen where either one of them costs them the victory. I'm going to go ahead and say, for some reason, Sheamus retains. And that's my prediction, guys. A little different than what I said on screen. But my name is Tubby. Have a good day, guys. Tubby out.